Quay, my name is Netawansum, and I, like my country, have become long forgotten. But some of us are far too important not to be remembered. Our country is old. It is so old that it is accurately described as ancient. Thankfully, our culture within our country was also strong. It was so strong, in fact, that despite the worst genocide and culturicide in human history, we continue to be able to piece together the portions of our immortal history. During the age of British imperialism, starting some 300 years ago, we allowed the invaders to coerce us into letting them tell our story. But now we have means, the tools, and the incentive to reclaim our story and set the story straight for all our generations. The following is a Western Algonquin, or Anishinaabe creation story excerpt account by Terry Docus. Numbers of the plant world were burnt, including the trees, and some trees were blackened, from a power that was created by the Creator. So with that blackness, with that char, the Creator took that, with great love and great intention, shifted it into the shell, tapping it down very carefully. Then the Creator took that shell and blew into it, creating the first human being. Not only does this first account serve as a beautiful comprehension of the birth of we Algonquin, but it also points to the black coal carbon material from which we were born. Though it is easily argued that this may be allegory, and though allegory it may in fact be, if the black char-like substance was not comparable to how the Proto-Algonquin viewed themselves, then allegory would not be an appropriate way to view this creation story. Additionally, we are taught from the Eastern Algonquin, or Elnu sources, that Kluskap was created from 3 bolts of lightning. The first strike gave him the shape of a man. The second strike brought him to life, but he was still connected to the land and could not move. The final bolt of lightning set him free. The Mi'kmaq were created from the soil of the Bay of Fundy, and that's why our skin is the color of the Bay of Fundy mud. Gerald Gloade. While Gerald Gloade applied the term Mi'kmaq, and it is accurate in his case, the term Mi'kmaq is a modern term coined by the Frenchman Charles Aubert de la Chesnaye. Likewise, the people are a modern created people, who along with the Acadians constitute the sons of Champlain, whose development started in 1632. As a result of this, we can deduce that when Gerald Gloade says Mi'kmaq in this context, he is referring to all Elnu, not just the subsection of Mi'kmaq, whom didn't exist at the time. Early European contemporary Elnu physical descriptions. So now that we've seen what our oldest stories say about our complexion, let's turn to the early foreigners' descriptions to see if they refute or corroborate our Lenug legends. While the PLNC has explored this topic in our video, Who Are the Lenug?, it is important to show that these types of accounts aren't anomalous. But on the contrary, these types of accounts from the early explorers concerning the dark hue of the indigenous of the northeast of North America are absolute. Let's allow them to speak for themselves. In 1609, Mark Lescarbot wrote, "The Lennu are of a very good stature, and I have seen no dwarf among them. They are of a chestnut color, or like a Spaniard. Not that they are born so, but they become so by the means of certain ointments which they use. They are well-limbed, well-boned, and well-proportioned. They have no big bellies, but are nimble and active. Their hair is very black, and they have no beard, for they pluck it out as it grows." While during his time in Lenumtgai, between 1611 and 1616, Pierre Biard wrote, "They are of a good height and well-proportioned. Their skin is somewhat tawny. They have black hair and eyes, and very white teeth. Their sight is much better than ours, and they can distinguish objects at a distance where we see nothing. They are very robust, supporting with ease the great cold of winter and the fatigues of the chase." Before we continue, we'll have to add a little historical context. We have to address the common expression of ointments, and pigment alterations abound. You will notice a recurring theme where French writers claim the Lennu are naturally white, but darkened by oils. This was a common 17th century European trope used to argue that indigenous peoples were fundamentally similar to Europeans, and thus civilizable, attributing their differences in skin tone to environmental factors rather than to biology. Apparently, this was a marketing tool attempting to encourage immigration to New France. For further reading on this odd ploy, read Les Sauvages Américains by Gordon Sayre, or The Complexion of Race by Roxanne Wheeler. Let's continue. In 1672, Nicholas Dennis, who would later himself take on a Lenug wife and produced Sons of Champlain, remarked on our appearance, saying, "The Lennu are all of great stature. I have seen none who were not taller than I, and I am of a medium height. They are well formed and very strong. Their skin is naturally white, but they make it brown by the oil and grease with which they rub themselves. They have very fine teeth, which they keep until the end of their lives, and their hair never turns gray. Just 4 years later, in 1676, Charles Aubert de la Chesnaye would remark that, regarding the savages of the coast, whom we call Souriquois, they are a people of fine stature, well-formed, and of a strong and robust temperament. Their skin is naturally white, but they tan it and redden it with certain herbs and oils to protect themselves from the air and the sun, which gives them that olive complexion. They have black hair, which they wear long, and very few have hair on their faces. They are agile, supple, and very skillful with the bow and in managing their canoes. As for their character, they are liberal and disinterested, sharing what they have with a natural kindness, yet they are proud and do not easily suffer an injury. 15 years later, in 1691, the famous priest Chrétien Leclerc described us saying, "They are of a fine stature, well proportioned, and of a very good mien," which today we would say swagger or temperament. They are not as black as many believe. They are very agile and run with a speed that is surprising. Their women are also well formed, with a modest and reserved air, having black hair and eyes like the men. Yet another early imperial age arrival was the surgeon Sieur de Dierville, who in 1708 said the following, quote, "They are well made and of a good height. Their limbs are very straight and well jointed. One sees no humpbacked, one-eyed, or lame people among them. They are very nimble and light of foot. Their complexion would be as light as ours if they did not constantly rub themselves with seal oil and other fats to protect themselves from the air and the sun." So there we have it, 6 physical descriptions of the Elnu from the first 100 years of incursion, from 1609 to 1708, all acquired from noteworthy, respected men of their society. So what are the common denominators of this? First, they were all written from within Lanumtki, about the Lanug. Each remarked on our great height or stature and well-formed physiques. 2 mentioned our full-toothed smiles, which were an oddity amongst the Brits of those days, though not amongst us, for reasons which will soon be made clear. Lastly, all accounts referred to our dark skin complexion using words like chestnut color, tawny, brown, tan, redden, olive, and black to describe our skin. Thus, the European witnesses of the pure Niji have spoken on whom they encountered prior to 400 years of selective miscegenation, altering the genetic and phenotype of the Lenug. This is further corroborated by peering into the tombs of our ancestors. Next, let's look into the mounds themselves to see who we find.